What's up, guys? Glock Guy 226 here, and we are hanging out on this Saturday night with my Glock 43. I have done a couple other previous videos on this. My second video I've ever done on YouTube here was my Glock 43 upgrades, but since then I have put a couple more things on this 43. It was about a 6-minute video. I kind of, you know how that goes, your first couple videos. You start to figure a few things out. I wanted to go more in depth on the accessories I put on this gun, as well as my thoughts and opinions on the 43 itself for carry and just as a gun in general. I get a lot of questions on the 43, probably more than any other gun that I've done a video on. I get a lot of questions on it, so I wanted to kind of address a few of those as well. So tonight is just about the 43, and I may make a couple more videos tonight. It's early in the night, Saturday evening. The wife and I are home. Kids are gone for the night. So we got some spare time on our hands. She's doing her thing, and I'm going to do my thing for a little bit, then we'll hang out. But anyways, we'll go ahead and safety check the gun. Gun is safe. Magwell's empty. Now I will be inserting a magazine, but the gun is not hot. So the Glock 43, guys, just in general, as a firearm, it's a great gun. There's a lot of anticipation for this thing to come out. And then they dropped the Glock 42 on us. I was never really a fan of the 42. I could see its uses. It is a little bit smaller than this 43 here, but I've never really been a big 380 fan. Now I just bought a Ruger LCP2 little 380, more or less just as a super small pocket pistol. If I have no other options, I have to be 110% concealed no matter what, I'll carry that. If I'm going to a wedding and I'm in dress attire, and I don't have a holster to accommodate that for these smaller guns, I'll carry the LCP2, maybe as a backup, whatever. Anyways, the Glock 43, guys, just fits that niche for me. That's, not big gun, but not small gun. It fits that in-between category, and a lot of that is because of the way I have it set up. Now, you can go buy a Glock 43 right off the shelf and carry it all day long, and it's going to be a great gun for you. All the upgrades I've chose to make to this serve a purpose for me and have a function. Now, one of the bigger things that I really have to have on whether it's a 43 or a SIG 938, any smaller gun like this, even revolvers, some, depends what they are, little snub noses especially, that pinky hanging off, I can't do it. I mean, I could shoot like that, but it is one of the most uncomfortable things for me. I just feel like I'm not getting the best purchase on my gun. So what I always do, no matter what, is I throw at least a pinky extension. Now this is a +2 base plate, but I always at least have a pinky extension, guys, no matter what, on any of these small guns. Now there's some that you can't do that on, like the LCP2, unless there's an option I don't know about. There's no pinky extension. I can only get my 2 fingers on it, and it's shootable and whatnot. But if there's an option out there to get a pinky extension, do it. You might not want to carry it all the time, but I'm telling you guys, that little bit of control you gain from having your pinky on the gun improves your shooting a lot. At least for me it does. And that's something that, I choose to have that no matter what. All my Glock 43 magazines at least have a +1 pinky extension. Now, another thing I want to go ahead and start off with about the 43, it's a super comfortable gun from the factory, but much like a lot of other Glocks, besides the RTF2s, in my opinion, I stipple them, for me. You might not want to do that. It's not for everybody. Some people are just fine with the Glock, they're factory stippling, whatever. But I choose to stipple them. For a long time, I thought it was kind of dumb until I shot a buddy's that was stippled. And he's like, borrow it for a little bit and run some rounds through it and see what you think. And, I put a couple hundred rounds through it, kept it for a week or so, and I really saw the purpose of it. Shot it in the rain, got it wet. Got it a little dirty, and that grip just helps out so much. Now, when I stipple my Glocks, I don't go for a super aggressive, tear your hands up type of stipple. I don't know if I could get a close-up of that, but it really is, it's smooth, but at the same time, guys, it's going to bite your hand. I mean, it's gonna give you a good grip. Now, I stippled this myself. There's a lot of guys out there that are really good at stippling that, are available to you if you want your gun stippled. If you can't do it, I've been asked a whole lot on Instagram as well as YouTube, hey, could I ship you my gun to stipple? And I wish I could, guys. Believe me, I would love to do it. I enjoy doing it, but I don't have an FFL, so I can't take anybody's guns in. Now my buddy's looking into getting his FFL. I'm kind of, wanting to back him on that, so he could hire me. I could be his employee, and I could do this kind of stuff. So hopefully that does work out, because like I said, I really enjoy doing it. Be a good little side job. So anyways, the biggest thing about stippling, guys, when it comes down to it, is straight lines. At least for me, that's what I figured out. Straight lines are absolutely key. Now, I know we've all seen stipple jobs, whether it's on a used gun page or someone's selling or at a gun show or pictures even. Guns that are just butchered. These people that stippled them should not have had any business trying to do it. Now, I know a couple guys that just said, well, I just wanted a little bit of grip on my gun, so they just hit it randomly, and it works for them. It just doesn't look the best. And no, looks don't mean everything on a gun. But, if you spend $400 or $500 or sometimes more on a gun, why would you go destroy it like that? I mean, yeah, I'll throw my gun in the dirt any day of the week. I'm not saying it's not a tool, it's not to be used, but at the same time, that's like buying a Corvette and spray painting it. Why would you do that if you don't need to? Just take the time, do things right. But the straight lines, guys, if you can see here, it's really, really important, at least to me, to get those straight lines. Now, I did the same thing. The bottom was kind of hard for me, but I think it came out very well. This is probably the 5th Glock that I actually did stipple myself. I started off with P-mags and AR mags, and then a buddy gave me his 19. I was definitely nervous stippling a gun, let alone somebody else's gun. I did it for free and stuff. He's just a close buddy, just more or less for practice. He said, just do it. I know it'll come out but good, just do it. So I just went ahead and did it, and then after that, I was happy with it, so I stippled my 43 and my 19, and I've been happy with them ever since. Now, when it comes down to actual framework and stuff, another thing I did was a trigger guard undercut. Now, I have gotten some comments on this on Instagram that people said, oh my gosh, you ruined that frame. Look how thin that trigger guard undercut is. And yes, I agree with you. It looks very, very thin. It looks extremely thin. But what I did, guys, was bevel the edges. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to get a really good focus on that. But if you can see here, where my finger's at is the middle of this. It's not nearly that thin, I assure you. What I did was I made the cut. Everything was fine. Took it to the range. Ran a couple of rounds through it. And my finger was just getting tore up. Right where that sits in there, this edge was just eating up at my finger. And I've never had that done on my 19s or Glock 20, whatever. That's never bit me like that. Must be something to do with my grip on here, where my finger's placed at. So I decided I'd come home, put a little bit of a bevel on there, and see if that helps. And it has helped 110%. So trigger guard undercut, guys, on a Glock, for me, is absolutely necessary. Now, you don't have to make as drastic of an undercut. I see a lot of people that just do just a very little bit, and that's fine. But as you can see, I'm pushing as hard as I can on this, and I can't get it to flex. So, it's not going anywhere. I'm happy with it. It's comfortable. I can trust it. We're good to go. Now, another little area I did stipple was the trigger guard itself. I like to do that for my support hand. I get my actual grip from the holster, bring it up. My support hand's going to come up and ride that stipple under the trigger guard. Just helps you get that much a little bit more of a grip. A lot of guns from the factory will have a little bit of stipple there, a couple lines there for a little bit of extra grip. So that's something I did, just a little extra. I am happy with that. Now, my 19, I did do a second cut there for support hand, and I really like that because your hand just more or less falls into that groove, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get a really good grip every time you purchase the gun. Now, as far as framework goes, that's about all I've done to it personally when it comes down to framework. Now, the next big thing we're going to get into is the Streamlight TLR6. And as you've seen at the beginning of the video, it is a light laser combo. You can run it as, let's see, just a light right here, no laser. Or you can run it just a laser or the light laser combo. Now, when I first seen this light, I ran this gun without a light for quite a long time, just fine, at least 4 or 5 months. And then I found the light, and I thought, heck, I really am a big fan of having lights on my pistols, especially if it's a carry pistol or home defense pistol. If it fills that role of a defense gun at all, I would prefer to have a light on it. And what's really great about the TLR6 It doesn't add any width. If you could see that there, it's just basically the same width of the slide. Now, if you get into, say, these bigger guns, you look at a TLR1 or a Surefire X300, they're going to stick out of that gun quite a bit, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, if you're wearing that gun in an in-the-waistband holster, even a Glock 19, whatever, with a bigger light, you know, you're going to be able to notice that you're carrying a gun with a big light. What's so nice about this is how slim it is. You have this in your holster, in the waistband, you really don't feel any difference in it whatsoever. Now these lights are about 100 lumens, they're about $100, you can find them for around 90 sometimes. They have ambi controls, they have this button here, as well as this button here. The only thing I wish this light had was a momentary feature. It just has one push on, one push off. Now that's not it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, I don't mean to nitpick it, but I really do like momentary feature on lights. But as far as options go for guns that don't have a rail, for any accessories for them, as far as lights and stuff, you know, it's pretty much the best you could buy. Now, Surefires are great. I don't think Surefire makes an option like this. But as far as Streamlight goes and Surefire, you know, yes, I agree. Surefire is, you know, number one. They're top tier stuff. But the way I've always thought of it was, you know, I can buy an X300 or I could buy two TLR1HLs. You know, I have yet to have a Streamlight, any sort of light fail on me, whether it's a pocket light, a weapon light. I've yet to have any Streamlight product fail on me, so I have no reason not to trust them. Now, another thing we'll go ahead and get into is this Agency Arms trigger. And I do, like I said, have an install video on this trigger. I have this trigger in my 43. I also have it in my Glock 19. Big fan of these triggers, guys. We'll go through it fairly quickly because I have a whole video on it. But one of the big reasons I love this trigger is right here. We are at the wall already. As soon as you depress that safety plunger, you're at your wall. Now we'll go ahead and pull. And it's a 4.5 pound pull, but this reset is amazing. And we're there. We're at the wall. So there's no take up mushiness. To get to your wall, you're just already at the wall. And with this being a flat face trigger, I feel like, for me at least, I get so much more consistent pulls. With a regular Glock trigger, there are a lot of other triggers, you know, they have that curve to them, but they're also rounded on the sides, so they're really easy to pull either way on the gun. This flat face trigger, you really have to be right in front of it, and you get just a straight, even pull back. It's really nice. Not to mention that reset. That reset is really easy to ride the reset. You know, it has improved my speed and accuracy on my 43 and my 19 quite a bit. Now, they're about $150 triggers, but, you know, for a long time, I thought it was stupid that people were doing that. I just polished all my trigger internals, you know, the contact surfaces, maybe throw a ghost connector in it, and I was good to go. And that did work for a very long time. You know, I just really wanted to see what the hype was all about with these aftermarket triggers, so I bit the bullet, went in and ordered one, and after I shot that a little bit, I was quick to order another one. So if you are interested in any triggers, whether it's an Agency, a Zev, I mean, there's a bunch of them out there, but I highly recommend to go check out tangoarms.com. That's where I got both of my triggers. Super cool dudes. They were really cool people. I got to talk to them for a little bit, and, you know, they kind of helped me out a lot, you know, on the Zev triggers, on the Agency triggers, and we narrowed down to the Agency for what I wanted out of a trigger. Okay, guys, another thing we're going to get into, night sights. Now, we all know, as far as Glock goes, you know, the first thing you do when you buy that Glock, if you don't do any other upgrades, you put sights on it at least. You know, that's, I would say, if you buy any Glock, even the 43, you know, if you want to keep it as stock as possible, at least get some night sights. And these are a great option for a great price, guys. These are the True Glow TFOs. And what's really neat about these is it's pretty much the best of both worlds. You get your fiber optics, but they also have tritium vials in them. So you get very bright daylight shooting and really good night sights at the same time. They are metal constructed. The fiber optic does have a little pocket, little window there for it to get daylight to really shine. But overall, guys, I've had no problems with these night sights whatsoever. That green really pops out of there, so you can see. Now, I got this 43 on a trade, and when I got it, had these sights already. The first thing I thought was, whatever, I'll take them off, sell them, and buy some Trijicons. Well, I took it to the range, and I was fairly surprised with how much I really like these sights. Even a buddy of mine, all he ever runs, no ifs, ands, or buts, is Trijicon HDs. And it's hard to argue with Trijicon HDs. I'm not comparing these on that spectrum, but he picked this gun up, and he was even shocked by how much he liked these sights. When you're shooting, you really want to focus on that front sight. Yes, you want to align your rear sights, level them out, whatnot, but that front sight is really what's important, guys. With the green on that front sight, that thing just jumps out at you. These sights here have yellow rear fiber optic and green front, so that green it jumps out a little more. So I highly recommend the green with yellow rears. If you do look into these True Glow TFOs, they can be had for around $70. So you're not going to break the bank with buying them, but you're also getting a quality sight. What else haven't we gone over here? Get into mag base plates, guys. This is a +2 Hive Technologies. It brings the stock Glock magazine of 6 rounds up to 8 rounds. So 8 in the mag, 1 in the gun. I'm holding 9 rounds of 9mm. That's a lot better than 6+1 in my book. So I've been really happy with them. You could have the Hive +1s, the Hive +2s. They're about $20 a piece, and they're a really, really great upgrade for the price. When I first got the gun, it came with a flush mag as well as a mag with a Pierce +1 base plate. And I think from the factory it comes with a pinky extension, but not a +1. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. But, if anything, I would at least run these Pierce +1s. They're really cheap. But, at the same time, these are only $20 a piece. I'm pretty sure they're both the same price. If not, the +2's a couple dollars more. You can look at Hive Technologies, Terran Tactical, Barracuda Tactical. There's a lot of different companies making these now, guys. But personally, I've always stuck with Hive Technologies, different Glock accessories. And I've been really happy and really good prices on stuff. I've yet to have any failure to feeds or any problems whatsoever out of the magazine springs. I have heard some people say, if you put a +1 or +2 in your Glock 43 mags, you need an extra power mag, or extra power spring, for your mag. But I have yet to have any trouble with that yet. I did have my slide not lock back one time out of like 1,000 rounds with these magazines. So, I don't know. I ran a couple hundred rounds after, the fact that slide didn't lock back, and I haven't had that problem again. I'm kind of thinking I was riding the slide release there. But, for me, like I said at the beginning of the video, if I'm going to carry the Glock 43, I'm going to definitely have at least a +1, which not only gives me 1 extra round in the gun, but it gives me that pinky extension. So when I draw my gun, I have that really, really good purchase on this thing, and I have 1 extra round. I usually carry it in this configuration here with the +1 in it. So we're at 7 rounds in the mag, 1 in the chamber, so 8 rounds. And then I have my extra 8-round magazine as my spare mag. So 16 rounds altogether. For this small of a gun, guys, I could live with that. Like I said previously, I shoot this gun like a full-size gun. When I draw this gun, I draw it like a full-size gun, but it conceals like a small gun. So there's just a lot I like about the 43. I would recommend it. If you don't agree with any of these upgrades or my opinion even on the matter, that's fine. I'm not telling you this is what you have to do. I just wanted to address some things for some questions I get asked. Kind of go in depth a little bit more on the upgrades here. And that's about it for the 43, guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them down below. Or check me out on Instagram at GlockGuy226. You can send me a DM over there. Let's see here. I'm having a giveaway February 1st of an Ontario Rat 1 folding knife, EDC knife. Really good blade. It's about a $30 knife, guys. But I have one, and I would honestly compare it to some of my $100 knives. So the way you need to get in on that is subscribe down below, and I will be getting all my subscribers' names, putting them on a list, and kind of doing a random name generator online. And I will record that process also. But subscribe down below to be entered in that drawing for February 1st, 2017. Please like this video. Check out my other content, guys. I really do appreciate you guys watching. We're right almost at the 300 marker. Hopefully by tomorrow we will get there. And that's just really, really awesome for only 2 months of having this channel. to get that many people that have been supporting me and, you know, subbing to the channel. I've met a lot of really, really cool dudes. The whole point to my channel is just to share my experiences and my opinions. And if you disagree with me on something, you know, I'm not here to argue with anybody. You know, I'm not here to argue with you and tell you this is what you need to do or you need to buy this product. You know, that's not what I'm all about, guys. I just want to share my experiences on stuff, and, you know, maybe it'll help somebody else out in the long run. If you guys have any questions ever, please feel free to ask. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.